Alright, buckle up folks, because this story is straight up bananas. We're talking about a dude named Marcos Baghdatis. You might not recognize the name unless you're a hardcore tennis fan. This Cypriot player was a bit of a hotshot back in the day, but this story? It ain't about his backhand. It's about his mom. So here's the deal, it's 2012 and Marcos's mom is chilling in Beirut, Lebanon. Now, Beirut ain't exactly known as the safest city on the planet, but you figure a tennis player's mom is probably not hanging out in the sketchiest neighborhoods. Wrong. Next thing you know, bam, Mrs. Baghdatis gets straight up kidnapped. Like, snatched off the street, broad daylight, the whole 9 yards. The kidnappers whip out their phones and call up Marcos. And they're like, yo, we got your mama, and if you want her back, you better cough up some serious cash. Think about that for a second. Your mom, the person who probably made you those super embarrassing peanut butter and pickle sandwiches as a kid, is suddenly in the hands of some shady criminals on the other side of the world. I bet even Roger Federer would be sweating bullets in that situation. So what does Marcos do? Does he panic? Does he call the police? Nah, man, this dude's got ice in his veins. He's probably thinking, screw this, I've dealt with tougher opponents on the court. Now, you gotta understand, Marcos Baghdatis ain't exactly a boring dude. He's this wild-haired, racket-smashing madman on the court, known for his all-out aggressive playstyle. So naturally, he handles this whole kidnapping situation with the same intensity. He ain't about to play some long drawn-out negotiation game with these kidnappers. He's like, alright, you want money? Tell me how much and where do I drop it off? Dude's ready to go full-on Liam Neeson on these guys, probably already packing a suitcase full of unmarked bills and practicing his particular set of skills speech in the mirror. But here's where things get even weirder. The kidnappers, probably sensing that they're dealing with a certified lunatic, start getting cold feet. They're like, whoa, hold on a minute, tennis guy. We didn't realize your mom was a VIP. Maybe we should reconsider this whole thing. Turns out, these fellas had the wrong target. They were some low-level crooks trying to make a quick buck, and they had no idea who they were messing with. They probably thought they were nabbing some rich old lady who'd have a panicking family ready to pay up. Imagine their surprise when the family's like, nah, we'll just send our psycho tennis player son after you instead. And get this, they didn't just back down, they actually apologized. Like, whoops, our bad, totally misread the situation. Your mom's all yours, no harm, no foul, sorry for the inconvenience. You gotta be some next level badass to make kidnappers apologize instead of demanding more cash. So, a few days later, Mrs. Baghdatis strolls back into the picture unharmed and probably a little shaken up. I imagine her first words to Marcos were something like, honey, you wouldn't believe the characters I met at bingo night. But here's the real kicker. Marcos, being the absolute madman he is, decides to keep this whole kidnapping thing under wraps. He doesn't tell the police, doesn't tell the press, nobody. Why? Because he's got a freaking tournament to play. This dude literally gets his mom back from a kidnapping and is like, alright, that was weird, but whatever, back to business. He heads off to Dubai to compete, probably smashing even more rackets than usual to let off some steam. Talk about dedication. Or maybe just a touch of insanity. The story only leaks out later, when reporters start noticing something's a little off with Marcos. You can't go through something like that without it messing with your head a bit. And when the truth finally comes out, the tennis world is like, holy crap. Turns out dealing with kidnappers was way more stressful than any Grand Slam match. Who needs angry opponents when you can just have your mom snatched off the street? Talk about raising the stakes, right? Now the media, bless their sensational little hearts, go absolutely bonkers over this story. Headlines scream tennis star's mom held for ransom and Baghdatis battles kidnappers. You can almost see those dollar signs flashing in their eyes. Meanwhile, Marcos is just like, dude, can I please just focus on my tennis? He probably wants to scream at every reporter, look, I handled the scary guys with rackets, now just let me handle the other scary guys with rackets. The whole thing turns into this international circus, with everyone wanting the inside scoop. Conspiracy theories start flying. Was it a rival player trying to sabotage him? Was it some crazed fan? Did someone lose a major bet on one of his matches? The internet sleuths are working overtime. But here's the thing, folks. The real story isn't about the kidnapping itself, as messed up as that is. It's about the absolute absurdity of how Marcos Baghdatis handled it. This guy's got nerves of steel and a heart the size of a tennis ball. He went toe-to-toe with criminals, kept it all secret to focus on his game, and came out on top. If that ain't the most baller move in sports history, I don't know what is.